Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, so as you can see, we have your tea leaves right here, ready to go. I have to say, immediately I saw the dove up here, okay, and singing a song too, right? The soft purr of a beautiful mourning dove, or maybe even a collared pigeon. That's what we have around here. Um, there seems to be a sense of life aligning in a way that feels almost like a lullaby. There's some kind of ease. Maybe something has changed, a circumstance has softened, softened. Um, there, there almost is a feeling of it being the world around you, those who watch out for you, your elders, your ancestors, the beings that you live among. I like to call them the backyard spirits, the animals and bugs and minerals and plants and all the things that we are neighbors with, we are family with, we are part of the same system, both locally and more collectively. And I don't know, maybe I'm just very superstitious, but I believe more than I believe in most things that we are so interconnected. We interact constantly, both seen and unseen. How we connect with our environment, how we spend our time with it, speak to it, communicate with it, commune with it, how we treat it. Are we trying to dominate it? Are we trying to mold it into our vision? Are we fighting against it? And it keeps coming back, it keeps coming back, you know? Are we respecting each other, right? And maybe you are somebody who is in a very beloved relationship with your environment, and all the beings that make that up. Now, maybe you have some problems with some of them. I don't know about the mosquitoes, man. But I do feel like this is almost like the things around you, the hum of life around you, is moving in a way that it's almost like offering up a hug, right? It is not lulling you, but I think probably attempting to help calm you, help you find your way back into that middle place, that grounded place. I don't think it's something that you even really necessarily asked for, but it's almost like the air has changed around you, and you might still be stressed out and, worried about all the things, but in this time, it's almost kind of like you can't ignore the frequency, right? And it's singing just for you, or it might feel that way. You might be kind of descending the ladder of anxiety, and in that finding more and more ease, that doesn't mean that everybody around you is doing the same, right? You might be coming down into a place where I'm feeling pretty okay, not stressing or staying up all night, tossing and turning. Maybe I'm getting a little bit more rest. I'm tripping out a little bit, a little bit less about life, right? And the people around you are still definitely having a time, you know. And so it can probably feel and seem even more pronounced than it was even just a few weeks ago. You might even be looking around thinking, like, is everybody losing their minds? And yeah. Yeah, we are. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to look over here as well. We have the candle right here in the center, you can see, with the little flame going. And it feels like, to me, somebody's standing here, okay, hand holding the candle of illumination. Now, I almost feel like in the shadows, kind of dancing around, there's almost this feeling of kind of the dancing trickster, right? If you ever saw the old school Peter Pan, the cartoon, although there was the one that had, oh, what was her name? It was Mary something. Oh, what was her name? She played Peter Pan in this kind of like weird 60s play version of it. That was always my favorite one. I haven't seen it in many years, so it's probably very offensive, so don't link me to liking that. But when I was a kid, I always thought it was super bizarre. It seemed very strange. So, and also, like, it was an early, um, overt kind of androgyny that I had never witnessed, and I really liked. I was so interested. I was so interested in that. But anyways, the there's a feeling in in Peter Pan, the cartoon, right, the old one, um, where they're trying to grab the shadow, right, and stick it on or whatever, and the shadow is like being tricky, right, playing jokes and pranky and kind of naughty and maybe a little ornery and all these things. And I feel like there's almost a sense of coming into a place of ease enough that you are witnessing kind of what's going on around you a little bit more clearly. And as your perception is like, you're not super maybe like busy, getting burnt out. You're not noticing like what's going on, like the fine details of everybody's lives and that kind of thing. And, when the cat's away, the mice play or whatever, come out and play, kind of this energy, like you're having clarity, you have a little bit more time, maybe you're a little more rested, and you're starting to see, hey, there's some stuff going on that I did not even perceive before, right? Suddenly it's like very clear to you, that there are people or a person in your life who is kind of playing around in the shadows, you know. Um, I don't know that it's like it feels silly to me, like almost like dancing, like a little, you can see it almost kind of looks like a little beast of some kind. And that's why I think it is kind of like this trickster feeling. Now, I think what we'll do though is I want to turn over a card because I want to see kind of like what realm of naughtiness are we talking about here? Like, is this kind of, I don't know. I almost imagine, like, your kids, older kids, are like, I don't know, doing what older kids do. What do teenagers do these days? I don't know. My daughter's still younger, but she, you know what? If I'm not paying close enough attention, uh, she will, she will try to take advantage. Um, Let me see here. So we have the Queen of Wands. Oh, don't fly. So it feels like a lot of, like like indulgently in the emotions, um, and it doesn't feel negative, but almost almost kind of like a follow your bliss, or like, treat yourself kind of thing, where it's like, um, this like overly kind of, well, I mean, I don't know if it's gluttonous necessarily, but I think it's like overindulgent. Okay, there's a lot of indulgence happen, and it doesn't necessarily mean in the physical, or even, um, I keep thinking, like, okay, so your kids, like, out, they have a little job, they're saving a little money, they're learning responsibility, and, now they're on this, like, treat yourself life. They're getting their little coffees, and they're, buying their little squishies or whatever kids are into. And spending their money, like, frivolously. And it almost kind of, you know, you get so busy with life and everything that you have going on, and also just, being worn out, you don't see necessarily all the things that they're doing, right? Because for the most part, you want to trust them. I feel like it's in the realm of, I don't know how this would feel. I don't think it's like some huge betrayal. But I feel like the people in your life, and maybe it's more than one, have taken this space where maybe you've been working more, maybe, you've been going to bed earlier, or, you're there, but you're not super present all the time. Um, and taking the space, for them to really, be doing the things that they like doing, you know. Uh, to me, the feeling of, like, being young, right? It's summertime. Your parents have to work in the morning. They go to bed. They leave you up with the TV. You know what I mean? Like, now it's, everybody has devices and stuff, but back in the day, that was like a big night, right? To be able to stay up super late. Nobody's like, telling you, oh, it's time to go to bed, or anything like that. And yeah, you're gonna take advantage, right? I, I mean, I would have, right? So I feel like it's something along the lines of this. Now, in this period of time where, this is kind of coming to light, you're like, this might not be exactly, your vision of how you want, your household to be run, or, your relationships to be, or, maybe it's not. Maybe it's informative for you. You see, as I've had to kind of be wrapped up in other things, and seeing them in kind of their more, um, natural state, to, unobserved state. And sometimes, man, that's a real, like, you see somebody doing something when they don't think they're being watched, um, on accident, not like weird. Uh, and you adjust, like what you perceive that you thought, oh, this is what they like, this is what, maybe not. We just, sometimes we really do. I learn this with my daughter often. I assume that she likes what she liked yesterday, right? Silly mom. I did not get the memo that it's all different today. But you do. You watch and you adjust, because you love and you care for them. So I feel like this isn't necessarily like a aha, I gotcha. I see that you've been this naughty little devil or whatever. I don't think it's like that. I think it's definitely all right. So you're responsible, but you've been messing around for a while here. Um, More of this kind of energy, which ultimately, um, I think because this is being unlocked by your kind of nervous system being a little bit more balanced and less like burnt out, right? Um, I feel like this is like the beginning of kind of a chain of states of being that are going to continue to be very revealing to you, and in such a good way. It feels like evolution, right? Like a growth, a growing, a growth, a healing process, right? And that's I love to see it. I love to see this kind of energy come out in a reading. Okay, so we have the number 7, lucky number 7. I'm just gonna these guys over here. We have a number 7. Okay. Now we have a person here. Head. Now here's the head of a person, and kind of standing close. And it looks like, well, it looks like A and B to me. A and B. So I'm just going to put A, B. So I feel like first steps here, maybe. Now, there's these two. Now, behind, and it does almost seem like the arms are out this way. It looks like a child. Here's the head, here's the legs. Now, somebody over here kind of holding or handing the baby over this way. Okay, and this is the person standing here. And I can't help but see this face of like, it almost looks like a cartoon, like monster type of thing, like you would see, like they would make it in a cartoon. So I almost kind of feel, like there's almost like we have a T right here, you can see, and then number 2. A T, and then we have a 2. I feel almost like there is a sense of, then we have a side profile. I want to be careful saying this. And then we have the musical note, kind of a singing. I almost feel like there is, is like somebody maybe in your life, maybe that you know well, um, that has maybe been in kind of a rough relationship. And it feels like maybe there's a child involved, or maybe this is kind of, it is in reference to like an inner child, um, kind of a kind of living out a cycle of, if, you know, witnessing maybe a parent that's gone through a relationship that had some kind of violence of some kind, and then living that out in their own relationships as well. Uh, but I feel like there is this sense of not like not allowing the child to stay in that, right? Like doing whatever has to happen. And I feel like on the other side of all of this, there's a great sense of, it's not the containment of a beast, it's not the slaying of a beast, it's not the, um, I got out of the situation and I did the work and I expelled any kind of darkness from myself, any kind of trauma from myself. I don't know that it works that way. I mean, maybe for somebody somewhere, I don't know. But I think, and I am a Jungian, of course, but, um, or an admirer of Jung. Anyways, I try not to align myself with anything. But, uh, you know, this is a this is a shadow. This is something that is often developed in a place of high stress, of chaos, instability, neglect, abuse, all the things, right? And so, not always, of course, not always, but um, you know, you have to develop something to survive, a part of yourself that will get you through, that will protect you in whatever way you need to be protected, right? And this can also often become the monstrous part of ourself because it has to be fierce, it has to be brutal. Um, do we exercise that from ourselves when, you know, we get up out that place, right? We're out of the cycle a little bit. We're trying to heal, we're trying to get away, we're trying to break the you know, generational abuses and traumas and so on and so forth. And I don't know that we can get rid of that. And even if we could, why would we, you know? But it's also not about ignoring it or containing it, in my opinion. I am a huge believer in sublimation, using these parts of self, um, lovingly, as lovingly as we can, uh, to create, right? Honoring all of the aspects of our being and putting that into, uh, you know, our world, our art, our the words that we come up with, that we say, that we utter into, you know, this collective matrix, in our magic, in the way we love, man, in the way we love, you know. Um, but here's the thing, it's also, you know, we have to put in the work to not contain it, but tame, right? To know our limits, you know, and when it starts to get up there, out of control, knowing where to put that. You know, for me, I have to detach a little bit. I need to walk away a little bit. I have to go and, you know, scream and cry in the woods, and have bonfires and cry to the moon. Where are you? When are you coming home? You know, these kinds of things. And it's different for us all, but, you know, we find ways, right? We find ways. We have to know that these things, they follow us, and when we shove them down, when we ignore them, when we deny them, right? That's the worst one, to deny them. They grow like mold in the dark, right? In the dark, damp, kind of warm place. They grow out of control. They find their way into our health. They find our way into our crisis. You know, if you've ever been through some kind of unexpected crisis, or, you know, maybe it is. Maybe you work in a field that has a lot of stuff going on all the time. You see in people who they really are when they are afraid, or they don't know what to do, or it's a lot of pressure, you know. And if you walk through life with this thing hidden, growing wildly out of control, it will seep out, you know, and that's not always a great thing. So, with the other side view of the face here in the singing, to me, it really feels like this thing, whatever it is, whatever happened, if this child is a child, or if it is symbolic of a child or a childhood or a inner child, right? This stressor, this chaos, this you know, defining point, it didn't just create like a monstrous thing, right? It created somebody who has walked through fires, right? It is that queen of, oh, I put her away. Did I put her away? Yes. Here we go. The Queen of Wands energy, right? Fortified in the furnace. And yeah, in a dynamic being, and one that's not afraid of being that dynamic being. So, I feel love. There's a lot of love that comes into play here. And the ability to be self, you know, which isn't easy for a lot of people. But I think when you really go through it, and especially if you've gone through it a few times in your life at least, or maybe you had like a prolonged going through it kind of childhood or whatever, you know, you get to a point where there's nobody else to be but yourself, because you've been in survival mode for so long, you don't even really know how to put it on, you know, anymore. Or you're just so dang old tired of it, you can't do it anymore. And that's, to me, when the real initiation begins. Okay, so here we have, it looks like a little landscape, little cactus. We have a person, kind of etheric person over here. You can see, look at the hairs kind of like drifting off. We have another person here sitting. Behind them we have the bird, right? Probably I would say like some kind of hawk or something like this. Now the person is sitting and holding a fish, and to me this is so much about Wow, and then the labyrinth. Look at this. There's like the labyrinth and the little kind of headstones and this kind of thing down here. Uh, to me, look at this fool up here with his little staff beneath the moon. Okay, and up here, look at a bird perched watching. Okay, so this is, I mean, have been in the wilderness, the under beneath the night sky in the vast desert, the arid lands, right? Where you go to forget your own name even, right? You are so out there, alienated, that you are in a landscape that feels alien, right? There's nobody there to guide you, to tell you what to do, to tell you who you are or what what you should call yourself or any of that stuff. And this is the wilderness or the dark night, right? Um, in this stripping away of self, in this dissolution of, well, really any kind of meaning to present, to be like presentable, right? When I don't know if you've ever been alone for a long time, but my years ago, my first husband passed away, and I was alone for years. Uh, I lived alone. I did not. Sometimes I did not see people for weeks at a time, and I was just with my cats, and I was like full hermit life. I moved out to like the middle of nowhere, in a small town, and I didn't know anybody. And I was just alone with myself. And it's a very difficult, um, it's a difficult process to detox from being a social person, hypersocial, or even just living in a very populated area for most of your life, right? I've been a city person for most of my life. And then leaving that, right? Leaving all that. I couldn't sleep for a while because it was so quiet. Um, I didn't feel safe. But you start to, all these things begin to fall away, right? And this is where kind of that madman archetype begins to rise, the wild hermit recluse, um, just strange, like, in a hut witch kind of archetype. Um, definitely on the edge of any kind of society. And so it feels to me like you have entered in your own way, whatever this looks like for you, you have entered a place where you feel quite alone. Now, I'm not saying lonely, but it is quite alone. And I also feel that in this, in the discomfort of feeling alienated, even if you are among people, and I don't, not intentionally alienated, but listen, you begin to read things and watch things and feel things, experience things, and you begin to kind of be more honest with yourself, and the world feels different. People feel different. Like situations feel, your house might even, you walk in, you say, well, who even decorated this place? Where have I been? Yeah, this is this feels strange. Um, and so I feel you on the journey of the hermit a bit. I feel there is, interestingly, an answer here for you, for money, um, creating resources. I think that in this lessening of your anxieties, pressures of life, the ease that is coming, the clarity that you are gaining, And yeah, the increasing sense of kind of being out there on your own, out in the universe. Now, connected to all things, of course, but also, feeling maybe a little bit like you don't relate with anybody. You don't have somebody to talk to. You might feel unseen, unheard, whatever. But in this evolution of it, it feels freeing. It feels like, all right, well, nobody's paying attention anyway, so why don't I just kind of do my thing, And I do. I feel like you are getting through that labyrinth. You have been through some things and you're figuring it out. And it's not easy, it's painful. There are parts of self that are falling away. And I think that's why we have those kind of like headstone kind of things in this part of the labyrinth, because aspects of self are dying, right? And honestly, good riddance. Um, yeah, there's a message in there for you, though. You're going to find something that is going to be beloved to you, and you're going to be able to make money doing it. I think um, that's the thing here. Okay, so we have the letter P. And then over here we have, I'm going to go, we have P. We have another P, really. Number 5. And the name, I think Matt. Probably Matt. All right. And I know that it would be T, but there's no extra T. Might just be Matt. Listen, I'm missing jujitsu right now, so maybe that's what it is. The Matt is calling me. Oh, we also have the number what is that? 12 right here. 1, 2. All right. I love you. Thank you for spending this time with me, and we'll talk soon. Good night.